Judges will decide the likes of me abide. Spectators of the show always staying low. The game is on again, a lover or a friend.
Hi everyone, Linda Heldman here for Canadian Beats. We are here in Sudbury, Ontario with Joey Niceforo.
Beautiful.
I did it right.
You did it right.
I did it right.
Proud of you.
It's when I do have to add that little bit of an accent to make it sound authentic.
Absolutely. You could be Italian.
Woohoo! So, if you don't know who Joey is, he is, you classify yourself as new classic.
Yes, I do. This is a term that my team and I coined. We felt, because I was trained as an opera singer, and I was in previous groups which had a very heavy classical tone to it, like the Canadian Tenors and Destino. And then when I decided to go solo and start this new journey, listening back to the music that I picked, it wasn't a decision I made, but listening to the music and the way I was singing, it wasn't so classical anymore, and it wasn't so crossover, because we had these beautiful melodies, huge orchestra, which keeps to the classical theme. But then my voice, I would use it in more of a ballady way, more like a Judy Garland / Shirley Bassey / Michael Bublé. And so we thought the music is so different, we feel, so we decided to call it New Classic.
I like it.
Thank you very much.
I definitely like
I'm
that.
glad you approve.
So, Joey Niceforo,
There you go.
new classic solo artist.
That's right.
Now you are a Sudbury boy, born and raised.
I am. Well, actually, even north of here, Valley East,
Oh,
which
okay.
is even smaller town.
I was going to ask what area of the greater Sudbury area
Yes.
you grew up in. So.
Hanmer, Valley East.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Alrighty.
I mean, love coming back. I actually haven't been to Valley East for a number of years. I think probably 3-4 years. But yeah.
So when you come home, what do you like to do?
Generally, when I come home, or how it was in the past, is usually I would do concerts. And so whenever I have concerts, it's hard for me to have fun and see my family. So when I do come at Christmas time, I don't perform, and so it's nice for me. It's a break. I actually, I have a great time just spending time with my family. And it's a huge family, tons of aunts and uncles and cousins, and they're amazing people. So I try to get in as many visits as I can, and seeing my mom and my sisters is also really great. My father passed away 3 years ago now, so that's it's tough. It's never easy. So miss him, but I always love coming back. And if I do come in the summertime, like this summer, I actually got up and for first time in a long time, just for the fun of it, just to see my family. So we went to Science North, which was awesome, and played with my nieces. I have 3 beautiful nieces. So we went. They were doing an igloo exhibit or something. So we had a great time.
Great.
Yeah.
I can just imagine, with having French and Italian background, huge family.
Huge family. Funnily enough, the Italian side isn't as big as the French side.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but both sides were musical, which was great.
Oh.
My grandmother played the piano and the accordion, and my grandfather played the piano, the banjo, the guitar. So they were very musical.
So you basically grew up with music surrounding you.
I did, yeah. And I mean, my mom would take me to concerts all the time, mostly country. I grew up listening to country music. I can't sing country. I love country. I love it. I wish I could sing it. But
hey,
it's
not for everybody.
It's not. I can't. I'm actually doing a country song tomorrow at the concert, so I'm excited about that for my mother. And it's a Garth Brooks song, and he you know, he's country, but you can still sing these beautiful melodies without having to be an a country singer. So I'm
Can I
excited
take a
about
guess
that.
as to what song?
Okay, take a guess. Garth Brooks. Something my mom would like.
The Dance?
You got it.
Really?
The Dance.
Oh, wow.
You like it?
Amazing song.
I
Like, it's one of, and now, knowing how you sing, like I said, I'm gonna need a box of
Oh,
Kleenex
thank you.
tomorrow.
Thank you. You can pass some to my mother. I'll get you to sit beside her.
I'm there in a different capacity tomorrow night. I'm supposed to be selling 50-50 tickets and bottles of water, so I'll be there.
Correct. Oh, you're with Angels and
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
I didn't
Yes.
know that. That's a great organization. I'm so glad that they could be a part of it. Really glad.
Yes. Well, it's through Annette Cressy that, you know, she said, "Are you interested in going to the concert?" I said, "Absolutely." And then it was, we need some people to work. Are you willing? I went, hey, as long as I can see the concert, absolutely.
You're good to go.
I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
Oh, I'm excited. I didn't know that.
It's my way of giving back.
Oh, it's nice. And I'm glad you could do this interview.
So am I. I'm
Thank you.
thrilled. Absolutely thrilled. So, as I said, any special restaurants that you like to go to, or any places like that when you come back home?
Ooh, Verdicchio.
Verdicchio, so I was gonna say.
I love Verdicchio. And the people there are amazing. And Fire on the East Side. Now, is that, I know that they had a fire. Was it Fire on the East Side, the one that is downtown?
Respect is burning.
Respect is burning.
Respect
Sorry.
is burning.
And they
And
rebuilt
they had
it,
a
no?
fire.
They had a fire,
And
unfortunately.
the ironic thing, Respect is burning at a fire.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is,
Yes.
I mean, really sad, but
Mhm.
I mean, that was a really trendy restaurant. Have they rebuilt it? I think they did,
It's
right?
open again.
That's great.
They've got a nice spot upstairs where they have special events.
Nice.
There's the Red Fang. I don't know. It's a little side place that they have
Okay.
live entertainment.
Ah,
So yeah, they really enhanced it. And of course, the food is still
amazing.
so good.
I think I know where I'm going tonight for dinner. A little promo.
And I think I still have a friend or two that still works there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that you
Perfect.
you may or may not know. Might be a little
Well, we'll find
after
out.
your time, but anyway,
No, it's-
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Good question.
I guess we should say you are performing a concert here in Sudbury tomorrow night
I am.
at All Nations Church.
Yes.
And so what is it like to be performing in your hometown? I mean, it's got to be half the audience, you know.
Oh, it is. And that, you know, I have performed in many amazing places. I've been so lucky in my life and my career. You know, from the Beijing Olympics, the Vancouver Olympics, Carnegie Hall, amazing, amazing places. And I was nervous. I always get nervous, crazy nervous before I sing. I have awful stage fright. But it's worse when I come home.
Really?
Yes, because I so want to do an amazing job, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to do that. And but I'm really, really excited. Yeah, so it's really nerve-wracking for me to come back home, but it's also amazing because the audiences here are incredible. I mean, incredible. They enjoy it. They want to be there. They want you to succeed. They want you to do well. And when you do well, they show appreciation. And that to me is so important, and I love that. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I find Sudbury is a really good place to support
Oh,
live music and the arts.
it is.
Whether it's Theatre Cambrian, yes, the Sudbury Theatre Centre. There's just so many, you know, all the shows that come to the arena.
Yeah.
Or even the small clubs
Yeah.
where live music's played.
I think people here crave it. You know, I think it's something, you know, they want to go out and do something and enjoy themselves and be inspired by music, or just forget about their worries and forget about the cold. Yeah, really incredible audience here.
Awesome. So when you were growing up, as I said, music had been a part of your life. At what point did you go, hey, I want to do this for a living?
Very good question. I was 16, so I started quite late. and I started taking singing lessons at a convent with a nun, Sœur Clotilde Denis, sweetest thing. And then I started taking lessons with a teacher here in Sudbury called Diana Holloway. She was great. And then it got to the point where I had to decide what I wanted to do growing up. And I really wanted to be a singer and pursue my studies, but I wasn't sure if my parents would, support it, be okay with it, because it's a hard career.
Absolutely.
And so I thought, and with the dad who's Italian and the mom who's French and the youngest child, the only boy, they want to keep their children at home or close to home. So I built up the courage to ask them if I could pursue it, and they were 100% supportive. I mean, no hesitation at all. And that to me was amazing. It just, I was filled with joy. I just remember them saying, absolutely, because they knew I would have to move away. And that was scary too, because I was a mama's boy. I was a loner. I didn't have really many friends growing up. I stuck to myself, and I moved to the big city when I was 19, and it was really scary. I was so nervous because I always had my mom there, my dad there, and so then my eldest sister, decided to move to Toronto with me. She wanted to change in her life, so that was nice. So for the first year we lived together, and yeah. So that's how it came to be. Also, I was inspired by the three tenors. I mean, I never really sang as a kid. It wasn't something that I thought I could do. And one day my godparents bought me the Three Tenors album. And I thought, I'm never going to listen to this. So I kept it in the drawer probably for a year. And then one day I put it on, and I cried. I listened to Nessun Dorma, which was the last track on the album, and I cried. And I thought, I had no idea music could do that to me. I never felt it before. I mean, I knew I loved listening to country music, but to get that emotion of crying without knowing what the words were. My Italian was horrible back then. I had no idea, but I knew it was good because it was a big high note. So yeah, that was another reason for the inspiration to sing and want to do it.
I find music crosses all languages.
Oh, it does.
It's an emotion.
It is.
And if it's sung correctly, that emotion speaks to your soul and just gets right in there.
Absolutely, and you feel it here. And there's certain artists and certain singers that just have this magic that can that gets you right here. Like Garth Brooks, I think he's an amazing communicator. Celine Dion. There's something about she's. My parents brought me to see her, I think when I was maybe 16, and they got us front row tickets at the Sudbury Arena. And I remember thinking, it was amazing, absolutely amazing, and she gets to you right here.
Can I tell you a story? Real quick story?
I would love to hear it.
Okay. I worked at Sony Music in the early 90s.
Okay.
When Celine was just breaking.
Wow.
Yes. And my boss was Dave Platel, who was Director of International Marketing for Sony Music.
Okay.
And his job was to promote Celine outside of Canada. And so he was going over to Japan, and he was going down to the States, and just all sorts of stuff. So I did get the opportunity to meet her a few times.
No way.
But I never got to see her perform live. To
Never?
this day, I have never got to see her perform live.
Then you need to book a ticket to Vegas. Is she still singing there? Book a ticket to Vegas. Go and see her show.
I would love to.
Do that for yourself.
I would love to.
I would love to see her again. I really would. We'll go together.
Okay.
We're going to go to Vegas now.
Totally works for me. Totally works for me.
I have a Celine story too. Can I say it quickly?
Absolutely.
When we were performing with Destino, we had a tour in Quebec. So we traveled around the whole province for about a month and did, I think, 26 shows in 30 days.
Wow.
So we were, living out of our suitcase and driving from town to town, and we had to go to laundromats and do our laundry. So one day we were, and there was this lovely elderly woman, very sweet, French, and there were a couple people around them. And so we got to talking, and they said, "Oh, you know, what are you doing?" And so we're performing, we're on tour. And they said, "What are you guys doing here?" And they said, "We're performing, we're on tour." And I said, "Oh, well, what's your group's name?" They're like, "We're the Dion family."
Oh.
So it was Celine Dion's brothers and sisters and her mother. And
you're such a sweet lady.
oh, her mother was so sweet and so down to earth, and the whole family was. And I really think Celine Dion is an amazing. I've never met her, but I've heard that she's a really nice person, and I could see why, because her family's so down to earth and so sweet. Yeah, so that was a really cool experience to meet the mother, and so we jammed that night. We decided to get together and went to a pub, and we got to sing with the Dion family, which was so nice. Yeah.
And I take it you're bilingual.
Yes, yeah. My French, because I've been away from Sudbury for so long and living in Toronto, you know, my French isn't as good as it used to be, but yeah, I'm lucky enough to still speak it.
And you were saying your Italian's...
My Italian's okay too.
Yeah, okay.
My English is so as well.
So we could almost say you're trilingual.
I'm trilingual, yes.
Very good.
Wow, I always say I can't speak any of the languages. You may need a translation under this interview. What Joey meant to say was... No.
How are we doing time-wise?
We're
okay.
Good. Another 10 minutes? Another 5 minutes? Okay.
Okay. So we have to talk about the new album
Yes.
that will be coming out in early 2018.
Yes.
2018.
We're
Yes,
aiming
I'm
for
having
January.
trouble saying 2018. Okay.
I'm rubbing off on you with my awful language skills.
2018. Well, okay, where'd this year go? And it is called Priceless.
It is.
Where did the title Priceless come from?
We were having a really hard time coming up with a name for the album. I wanted it to be genuine. You know, I thought, okay, maybe I can name it one of the tracks on the songs. And I just had a really hard time coming up with the name. So we were sitting having dinner, Thanksgiving, and you know, just talking, reminiscing about the whole experience of recording there and how amazing it was, how priceless the experience was, how it'll be something no matter what happens, I'll never forget it. Just singing the first tune, hearing the orchestra play that first line and coming in, it really was priceless. And also, the other reason why we chose Priceless, Steve Price was an amazing sound engineer. So he was the sound engineer, main one at Abbey Road. And so he won a Grammy Award for Adele's 21 album, her huge album, and he won a Grammy Award for Sam Smith's album as well. They both recorded there. And he passed away 2 months ago. So, and he really was a special man, and he knew how to record. And so that's why we decided his name's Steve Price, so we thought, you know, it would be Priceless. And I wanted to ask
What a tribute.
Well, I thought, you know
Awesome
what?
tribute.
I didn't want to offend or use his name in any way that would be offensive or to his wife. So I messaged her and said, hey, you know, is it okay if I pay a little tribute to Steve? And she said absolutely. She would be honored, and so that really.
Okay, that's giving me
made happy.
goosebumps.
Oh, thank you. Me too. But he really was a special man, and he was a genius. We filmed a lot of the recording at Abbey Road, and we had cameras there and these lights. And when they did the first couple of takes, Steve decided to stop the session. He said, "There's something wrong with the sound in the room." And so we went in and tried to figure out, thought it was the plugins, but then realized it was the lights that had a little hum.
Oh.
And he could hear it.
Oh, wow.
And he knew
That's
it changed the sound.
Strongly acute hearing.
Absolutely. And
Wow.
I was so impressed by that. The videographer, unfortunately, wasn't so impressed because the lights had to come off. Because the most important thing was the music. And so they filmed a couple of takes with the lights on, but for the rest of it, it was just the natural lighting, of the studio, but he was that good.
So, what was it like to walk into Abbey Road Studios for the first time, knowing the history behind that? It just, I would just be walking in with my mouth wide open, looking around, going, wow.
Linda, that's what I did. I didn't sleep the night before the recording, so I got up. Honestly, I did not sleep for a minute. Tossed and turned, and then I saw 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and I said, okay, you're not going to sleep. Get up, go for a walk. So I walked around Piccadilly Circus. We were staying near there, and waited for the coffee shop to open, and sat there and said, calm your nerves, like, because there was so much pressure because of the name, Abbey Road, because of the people who have recorded there, and it was really daunting. And so I walked in, and you feel like it's a museum, because you see all of these pictures kind of looking down at you, saying, good luck. All these famous people thinking, and so I took out my camera to take pictures, but then the security guard said, sorry, you can't take pictures in the hallway. And so I thought, okay, sorry. So it did feel like a museum. But then I got into the studio, and so professional. And the studio, when you rent it, it's yours. You can do what you want, take pictures. It was amazing. We heard the orchestra tuning up and practicing a little bit, and we walked into the room and just goosebumps. And my father always wanted me to sing with a huge orchestra, and so that's something. When I sang the first line, all I could think about was my dad and how much he wanted to hear me sing with a big orchestra, and so I was a little bit of a mess for the first song, just thinking about him and the experience, and wishing he could hear it. But I know he
was there.
He was there. Oh, he absolutely was, because he got me through it. I know he did.
It's you wonder if the likes of John Lennon and George Harrison were there. You could just feel their energy. And
Absolutely, you could. We used one of the. So there was this beautiful long huge grand Steinway, and then there was this little upright old piano, and for one of the pieces it would have been perfect, so we asked if we could use it. They said yes, of course, and then they told us the history. It was the piano that the Beatles used a lot for the recordings, and they never refurbished it or anything, and it has this amazing, rich, old, deep sound, and so that was incredible, to be touching the piano that the Beatles recorded. I mean, it was amazing. And George Harrison's son has a studio there still. So he was there, and got to meet him, so that was kind of nice. It was incredible.
Wow. So most people, when they record today, they've got guitars and drums and bass, and they might bring in some strings or some horns, but this was a whole orchestra. Like, there was it looks in the video like there's 100 people there.
And there were close to
easily.
There were
close
80.
To that?
I think 86 was the number.
Wow.
And how that came about, and how this project came about, was I was going to quit singing about 3 years ago, because Destino had just finished, and I thought, okay, well, it's too late for me to go and start a solo career, because I know what it takes to start everything from scratch. It takes a couple of years to be able to build up to, a certain standard, and then you record. But I had this amazing friend in my life, and she really did not want me to quit. And she said, she was going to buy another horse, and then decided to invest in me instead. And she said, but if we do this, I want it to be the best. I want it to be the best orchestra in the world. I want it to be the best studio with the best arranger, best conductor, and best producers. And so we did. We sought out and found the best people to be a part of this project. And I am eternally grateful for her confidence in me, believing in me, and giving me this opportunity of a lifetime to sing with, like you said, people don't do it anymore because it's expensive, first of all.
Everybody in that room has to get paid.
Everybody in that room has to get paid. And the studio is expensive, and everything. It costs a lot of money. And so now a lot of the music that's done is done artificially, and it still sounds gorgeous. I mean, it sounds like an orchestra, but a real orchestra still sounds like a real orchestra. And I'm so proud of that. So proud.
But is there not a depth with an actual orchestra that you just cannot imitate in any other?
There is, yeah. The amazing pianist who's going to be joining me tomorrow, Roy Tan, incredible. We were on the way up, we were listening to the album because he wanted to hear it, he hadn't heard it yet. And then we were listening to some other tunes that had a fake orchestra behind it, so all synth. But they're taken from real strings, and then they're put into a computer program, and then, you know, they match it. And both sound great, but that's exactly what he said. He said there's a depth, there's something about a real orchestra and the natural acoustic that it makes in the room that you cannot fake. You can't reproduce that. And that's something that I find just so incredible. And yeah, it was amazing. I'm still in awe. Still,
Wow.
yeah.
I so want to hear this album.
Thank you.
No
Me
idea.
too. Well, if you come tomorrow, you'll hear a couple of pieces, and I'm actually using the backtracks from the new songs that I'm doing for my album. I'm using the orchestra from Abbey Road, so you'll be able to hear that tomorrow.
Wow.
On a couple of the pieces.
Wow. That's awesome. I'm so looking forward to tomorrow night. You cannot.
Thank you.
Oh,
So am I.
Yes. Now, you have in January a single that's going to be released
Yes.
from Priceless.
Yes, I do.
Can you tell me what the single is going to be, or is that a secret right now?
You know what? It's not a secret, but it's because it's still up for debate.
Oh.
I have my opinion,
Okay.
and then some of the people on my team have other opinions as well. So we're still deciding on what it's going to be. But I hope my vote wins. I hope my vote wins. In my opinion, I feel like the first song should be the best of the album, and I mean they're all great, but I have my favorites, and for me, I'd like it to be, because I want people to be encouraged to want to hear the rest of the album when it releases later in February or March. And so that's something still up for debate. So it's not a secret. I'm bad with secrets.
Is Winner Takes It All one of those?
Those are one of my
Potential?
favorites. Those are one of my
Okay.
favorites. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things that I when I was researching is these are all cover songs,
Yes.
but they're with a few exceptions, they're not the most popular of the released cover songs.
Yes.
And what you did with these is, okay, so you have, say, Winner Takes It All,
Yeah.
which is a beautiful piece of music on its own.
Absolutely.
I mean, who didn't love ABBA back
I
in
mean,
the day?
They were
Who doesn't still love
incredible.
ABBA?
Oh, genius! Even listening to it, I mean, they were geniuses. What they did with the music and the harmonies, and I mean, amazing.
But you ended up sort of, well, you and your production team ended up dissecting the song and then putting it back together again with your own little spin.
Yes.
So it has very significant differences than what the originals obviously sound like.
Thank you for noticing that. That was something that was really important for me. And for the pieces that are well known, like Winner Takes It All, there's a song in there called Solitaire, which is a beautiful, well known song, but we wanted to put our own spin to it. And the rest of the songs, you're right, they're obscure covers. And that was something that I wanted to do because I can write lyrics, but I can't write music. It's never been my forte, but I love writing lyrics in French and Italian. And so if I was going to do a cover album, I didn't want to do, all of these songs that everybody knows. I wanted to pick songs, because there's so many, there's thousands of songs out there that are beautiful that most people don't know. And they can become popular. And so that's what we did. We spent months researching songs, and I had these amazing producers who, said, what about this song? And I thought, I can't believe I've never heard this. There's a song tomorrow that I'm doing that's from the new album called Where Time Stands Still by Mary Chapin Carpenter. Stunning songs, simple words, but we put our own twist to it. And the same goes with most of the songs on the album.
Wow.
And that was thanks to the amazing producers we had.
Wow. Just incredible.
Oh, thanks.
Now, other than Mr. Price, you also had a couple of other Grammy Award-winning
I did.
people attached
Yes.
to that.
Yes.
And I missed my page.
That's okay. I know them by heart.
You can tell me.
I know
You
them
can
by
tell
heart.
me.
I love it. We had, I keep on hitting my head on the,
Oh.
I feel like somebody's behind me saying, wake up. I'm just, anyway.
Try to knock some sense
Yeah, I'll
into
try to
you.
knock some sense into it. We had Steve Sidwell, who won a Grammy for the Carole King Musical. I don't know if you've seen it, but I saw it.
I haven't yet. It's one I would love to see.
It's incredible.
If I was living in Toronto, still,
I know, it's
I
easier,
would be
yeah.
seeing everything
Yeah.
that came through.
Yeah, it's easier. It was an amazing, amazing show. I really enjoyed it, start to finish. I didn't want it to end, and you know that's good when you don't want something to end. And so he won a Grammy Award for that. He's worked with Shirley Bassey. He's worked with Michael Bublé, Rufus Wainwright, tons. He used to be in Wham with George Michael.
Oh my goodness, wow.
And so he plays the trumpet. And so he's an incredible musician, incredible conductor, and arranger. And so that was an amazing person to have on the team. We also had John Jones, who won a Grammy Award for an album that he did with Celine Dion. And he was great to work with. He brought a lot of the songs that are on the album. He brought them to me and said, "What do you think about this?" And so he was really fun to work with. We got along really. I got along with everybody, but he got me, which was awesome. And then we had Sam Reid, who is from the group Glass Tiger. And so he was great as well. He and I worked together when I recorded my demo when we started to do this project. And so he brought a lot to the table as well in terms of musicality and kind of connecting the dots for us to make that dream happen of getting the best in the world. Yeah, it was great.
So I have to ask, in mainstream circles, obviously country music, rock music, someone cuts an album, it goes to radio. There's so much being done on social media these days as well.
Yes.
Where does your music get played?
That's a very good question. My publicity team and my marketing team, we've been talking about it because times have changed. All the music stores in Toronto are gone. I don't know if there's still an HMV here in Sudbury, but they're all gone.
HMV is gone.
Yeah, they don't exist.
A&A Records from back in the day is gone.
They're gone. Yeah.
There's Sunrise has taken over a few places, but
Okay.
there's little independence again.
Right. Yeah.
Instead of having the big mega chains.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, it's a shame because I always liked going in and browsing, but it's easier to stay at home and get it on iTunes. It really is. And also performances on television are rare. Talking to the publicist from when we were with Destino, we were able to get on all of the major talk shows in Toronto. Canada AM, which no longer exists. We were on E-Talk and Entertainment Tonight Canada, and we did performances on news stations, but they don't do that anymore. And so now it's through social media. It's through making a video viral, and how you do that is the question. It's a crapshoot, But I think if you have a good product, and I think if you have a great team behind you, kind of pushing things, I think that's the way to do it is through social media, and so I think we're going to aim heavily on doing that to be played. And on there's a radio station in Toronto called Classical 96.3, so they do a lot of the crossover, adult contemporary. I'll certainly not be played on the pop station or country station, but so I think it'll mostly be through social media and live concerts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool. We are definitely moving into a totally new phase of how music gets listened to and gets out there. I know, just as I said to you when I came in, I said, I'm kind of the resident country girl. I mean, we lost CMT, so we don't have
No.
country music television
No.
to put music videos out to.
No, you don't. And
So, where do you go? So it's being so YouTube driven now. You've got to do things with your social media.
absolutely. It's Vivo, YouTube,
Mhm.
and that's where people watch. It's the easiest thing, because instead of having to wait, at 8 p.m. I better turn it on because my favorite singer is going to be on. Now you can just listen to it whenever
It's
you want.
instant.
It's instant, and that's what people want. I want it. I want instant. I do.
I want it
I
now.
want it now. That's what it is. I don't want to wait.
We're all becoming impatient children.
We are.
We want it
It's
now. We
awful. I
want it now.
Yeah. Otherwise, then you forget about it. You forget about it. So.
I don't know. There's kind of a double-edged sword on that, because
Yeah.
patience is virtue.
It is. That's true. That's true.
And
Now you make
it's-
me feel horrible.
No.
I'm kidding.
No. I love Spotify. Spotify is
Spotify's
my go-to.
great.
I have my playlists, and I just, as soon as something new's out, add to playlist.
Yeah, exactly. And we're gonna be on Spotify, which is
Perfect.
great. And
Perfect.
yeah,
But I'm old-fashioned girl. I like hard copies of stuff.
which
So
is great.
I want the CD that I can put in the car and listen to.
Mhm.
I recently got a new car, and
Nice.
I made sure it's got a CD player.
Perfect. Yeah. Because isn't that awful? You have to ask. Does this car have a CD player?
Exactly, because
Yeah.
everything's USB ports, and,
Yeah.
and you play through your phone and stuff like that. So, again, I'm a standard drive girl. I love
That's
driving
impressive.
standard.
I wish I could. I can't.
It's easy. It's so
I
easy.
can't do two things at
And-
once.
And it's we're almost to the point where if you want one, you're going to have to wait 6 months to a year to get one.
Right.
Thankfully, they had two in the lot, and I picked one.
There you go.
So, yeah. Does it have a CD player? Yes, it
Yes,
does.
it does, and it's standard. Okay. Mine.
Hey!
Mine.
It's got a sunroof and heated
Mine.
seats.
Love it. See, that's all she needs.
Bluetooth, no GPS,
Bluetooth.
but hey.
Well, but the type of demographic I think that my music appeals to is people who do want to buy CDs.
Mhm.
If they go to a show, they want to have that hard copy. That's what we did when we went to the Carole King Musical. Is can we buy a CD because we love the music so much, and you want to take it home.
Mhm.
And I think you're right. Some people do prefer having a CD in hand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We could go on for hours here.
I
I'm
talk a
sure.
lot. I talk a lot.
We'll shut the video off and just keep talking.
Beautiful.
But I love it. I wish you all the best.
Thank you very
With
much.
the concert tomorrow night,
Thank you.
the new album, the single. I'll definitely do whatever I can to get your face out there
Thank
so
you.
that people can hear this.
I appreciate that. And
And,
this was a very fun interview. It was great. I
it's-
enjoyed talking to you. This was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, so we've been speaking with, let's see if I get it right after all of this.
Waiting.
I need my cheat sheet.
I'm Joey.
I know.
I'm
The
kid-
Joey's the
I'm
easy
kidding,
part.
I'm kidding.
The Joey's the easy part. Niceforo.
There you go.
Yes.
Very good. Bravo. Very good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Joey.
Thank you, Linda.
And I'm Linda Helpman, the Canadian Beat.